Hey, everyone. This is Dr. Crystal Richardson. Extremely happy to be with you today. Today, what we're going to do is talk about benchmarking, and the importance of benchmarking and what that means for you in your business. And so, as we get into the show today, I want to encourage you to take some notes, to get some way of, whether it's on your iPad or handwritten notepad or computer, to take some notes on this, because there's going to be some things that we go into that you may have thought of, but maybe not have thought of in this particular way. So we really want to make sure that you're able to take full advantage of this, as well as, you can watch the show again later. So these are our pre-shows for The World Speaks. And what we're doing here is just sharing various concepts and precepts related to business leadership and global thinking. And so as we get into the actual shows, we'll be doing some other setups here at our studio in Arizona and updating some of our equipment. And as we do that, we will have where we will actually let you know when we schedule the exact day for our launch of LIG TV. But until then, I did want to get on and just, from time to time, just share various things that hopefully can help you along your way. And for those who tune in after the fact, because we're not necessarily really promoting these, but for those who tune in at any time, that you can get some things that can help you in your business. So as you go get some notes, we're going to share with you, as you go get away to take some notes, we're going to share with you a few things that we have coming up the end of this year related to our awards. Now, if you are a person who's been in business of any type, leadership, and have done very well, even if it's from a philanthropy perspective, there's a number of different categories that you'll see in this commercial. We would love to have you as part of our awards ceremony later on this year. Take a look. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dr. Crystal Richardson. Excited to be with you today. And today we're talking about the importance of benchmarking. So what is benchmarking? It is a way of you comparing either a process to one that already exists, a company to one that already exists, a solution to something that already exists, and gathering as much information as you can in order to have a basis for why you are saying what you're saying, in order to have a basis for saying, you know what, I am going in the right direction, or wow, based on this benchmarking exercise, this comparison exercise, maybe there's some things that I need to change, alter, eliminate, add, all of those different things. And so as we get into the various concepts that we'll be going over today, I want you to think about a project that you have. I want you to think about your business. I want you to think about some things that maybe are coming up that it would be great to add a benchmarking element to what it is that you're doing if you have not already done so. Now, Benchmarking also in business plans sometimes takes the forms of various elements that are in your SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So what are the strengths of your business? And how does this compare to other companies' strengths? What are the weaknesses in your business? Things that you know you really, really need to take care of. And how does that relate to others that are out there? Strength, weakness, and then the other one is opportunity. What are some opportunities that you have? Maybe opportunities for expansion, opportunities for improvement that would be really, really good for you to add into your business. And then threats. What are some competitors? What are some things that are happening in the economy? What are some things that are happening with your risk pro forma that I always talk about risk? What are some things that could threaten you not to be able to move forward in your business? A lot of times, in various countries, it is around election time or right after the election, such as, where we are right now in the United States, that there's a lot of things that are really highly technical word here, topsy-turvy, that could be considered something that's strengthening your business depending on what industry you're in, or it could be something that could be considered a threat. So here in this country, just the same as other countries, we always hear about, the different things that happen right after elections and how the economy responds. And so part of that has to do with, what kind of investments that you're in, and are they doing well because of what has transpired, with governmental changes, or are they in fluctuation, or have they gone down? And so there's a lot of different things that go into that particular part related to threat. But what I want to talk to you about today is the word benchmarking, and how that is basically a portion of what you're doing is wrapped around that word benchmarking. A portion of what you're doing when we talk about SWOT analysis, when we talk about what we do in our business plans, I pray, and you can contact me if you want to get some more information on robust business plan for your particular area of industry. But as we look at this, it's important for us to think about how we can compare what we're doing with what's already out there. And if what you're doing is so new and novel that there is no comparison, okay, then great. But then how well will it be perceived in the marketplace if it's not where it's similar, or people can understand what it is that you're doing that you're now making better? And that is a part of the marketing strategy that would come forth afterwards. All right. So let's get into some of our points. And as usual, I have 5 to 10 points, and so we'll get through how many ever it is that we can get through on today. But the first point, if you want to write down the first point related to the importance of benchmarking, is that it identifies best practices. Identifies best practices. Now, there's a part B of that it can also identify things that are not considered best practice. So when you benchmark, you want to see, who's the best of the best out there. What project is the best of the best? What solution is the best of the best? What company is the best of the best in that particular area? And you could put that you could evaluate that based on impact. You can evaluate that based on if you're able to get a copy of whatever their annual report was for their business. A lot of companies, public companies, they do have where the annual report is available. You can see what sectors they are in. You can see what countries they're in, and you can see the number of employees. There's a number of things that you can look at when you look at those annual reports, and how much they made, and various things, for based on that review. So if we're talking about identifying best practices, it could be that you also, for those companies that maybe had a really, really good year financially, is then to go on social media, go on various news outlets and see, or go to their website and see what kind of press releases they had. Okay. What was it that they stated that they did? What was it that they had in the press release that actually showed that they were launching this product or that product, or moving now into this region of the world, or that they did I'm looking for, they did a hiring, That's what I'm looking for. Not about letting people go, but they hired a number of people in a particular area of their business because of the growth, because of their response to something that is happening in the world. Okay, so when we talk about benchmarking, it's a matter of benchmarking based on the second point is what problem are they solving? What problem are they solving? And what problem do you want to solve? So the first one is looking at best practices. The second one is what problem is being solved, and the problems that you want to solve, are they similar to what they are doing? Or again, is it different? And if it is similar, you can look at their approach, their financial approach, their people approach, their product approach. What are their features, advantages, and benefits that they are offering? That's the FAB factor that I talk about a lot as well. So what is their solution to the problem? So yes, best practices. What's their solution to the problem? And then based on that, number 3, you can go to what are enhanced business processes that you can put in place based on that benchmarking exercise. What are the enhanced processes that you can put in place based on that benchmarking exercise? Now, excuse me. Now, you could have where you do the benchmarking and you see, wow, across their company portfolio, let's say that they have 100 employees. They have 50 that were in manufacturing, but now this year, because of automation and AI, they only have, let's say, 30. And they only had 10 people in R&D, research and development. But because of the big boom, because of some things that happen in the world related to agriculture or whatever, I could say anything in that spot. But because of that, they now are wanting to develop a lot. So now they have less people in manufacturing, but they have more people in research and development. So let's say the last 3 years, they only had 10 people or had 10 people in research and development. And now they have 35 people. Now, it's not where you can transfer the manufacturing people over to the R&D people. It's a different skill set, most likely. But it is showing how they shifted to have enhanced processes, enhanced efficiencies, enhanced capabilities, better products, better service, better response to what's going on in the economy and with agriculture and all of those things by shifting their employee portfolio. So these are things that we need to look at. And part of what I look at in my business when I do these kinds of assessments with companies is if I'm talking to the chief operating officer or the chief executive officer, the CEO, whoever it is that I'm speaking with, business development person, innovation area of the business, is that we need to be able to not just have a warm body approach. We need to have where we are looking at what are the skill sets of the people, what are the job titles and the skill sets based on potentially needing to shift that depending on where the company is going. So the importance of benchmarking, as you can see, is extremely important because you can benchmark for the company overall. You can benchmark based on a particular product, based on a particular process, based on where you want to go, your trajectory for where you want the company to go in the future, whether it's local and now it's going to be national and then it's going to go global. All of these different areas should have where you use the tool of benchmarking. Okay, so the next one. Understanding competitors allows you to more effectively have a competitive advantage. It's number 4. That this enhances, guess I'm going to be using enhances a lot today. This enhances your ability to have a competitive advantage, a stronger competitive competitive advantage. Now, again, what do I mean by that? So the how in this is you're going to be looking at insights of how well those particular companies are doing. And it may be, how they're doing overall, but it also may be how they're doing in a particular sector. Remember, all companies have, well, a number of companies have where they don't just do one thing. They have, various areas of their company, right? Various product offerings that they've grouped into various silos of what they offer to the general public. So based on the overall company or based on the particular sector that corresponds to what you are doing, you could look at what they're saying. And then you can go on various platforms. Now, for restaurants and other things like that, I'm not sure how widespread Yelp is, but there's on there where people give, their review on what they're thinking about a particular situation. There are other sites, even if you are thinking about being employed at some of these companies, whether it's Glassdoor and Indeed and other platforms such as those, where there's anonymous posts. Sometimes I guess people put their name, but from employees of those companies that give a rating and talk about what's actually going on inside of those companies. So there's various things that you can use like that to have where there's a rating system that you can go in and see, are there any inside views that you can have to give you insight, and then already solve the issue, if you can, related to what some of the people are saying, are potential issues. Or Google reviews. There's all different kinds of reviews and different things that people do. So depending on, again, what area you're in, or you can have, depending on your industry, there's various publications. And there's sometimes people in there, even if it's in medical device or genetic research or whatever, there's a lot of different publications. Everybody has a magazine nowadays where you can go and read if there's an article related to the good, bad, and ugly, related to a corporation or their products and services. So there's various ways that you can have people curate, as part of your team, curate the information that's needed to understand what is going on so that you can have a competitive advantage to fix those things before yours actually comes out, or before the next version of yours comes out. Now, keep in mind that they may have people that are doing the same thing and that are benchmarking against you as well. So you want to have where you have the highest product quality and best service that you can as well. All right, what's another thing? Benchmarking helps you to already solve some things that the customers are already viewing as potentially being an issue, whether they're your customer or your competitors' customers, okay? So that's another area for us to look at, is that this can help customer satisfaction. So I want you to write this down, that benchmarking can actually ultimately help you improve customer satisfaction or client satisfaction. Because you see, you've understood the importance of benchmarking, you've done the benchmarking, gone out, got the information, you've brought it back to your team. This is part of the how. You all have analyzed what it is that you can do right now, what you maybe can't do unless you have more capital. You've gone out and raised the capital. Now you have the money that you need to increase R&D, research and development. You have the money that you need to add in more automation and reduce what's going on as far as the employees in manufacturing. Maybe you can have where you put them somewhere else if you're opening up a new location, so that they don't actually lose their jobs because of the automation. They just get transferred over to a different location. Okay, because this is not about just saving money. Like, if everybody goes to all of this automation and AI, even though that is part of what I do, then there's nobody that's working to be able to spend the money to buy whatever it is that you're selling, because all of those people now don't have jobs and they don't have money to buy the product or service. But I digress. So I know a lot of times it's in bigger industry and it's for something that there will still be people there to purchase, but just want to always have that humanitarian factor in what it is that we say and do. All right. So let's get back to boosting customer satisfaction. Because if you understand the industry, and if you understand the needs of the customer, whether you did benchmarking on just one competitor, two, three, four, five, six competitors, then that helps you to have that in your back pocket, if you will, that if you have the opportunity to make some improvements, and whether you're in charge of your funds, or if you have to present something to corporate to see if they're going to allow you to allocate funds in a particular way, you have the data, you have the information that you need in order to help facilitate that discussion and to make that particular thing a reality, meaning what you've put in your plan that you want to do that following year. So let's go to the next point. The next point is that benchmarking helps you to facilitate better goal setting. Yes, better goal setting. Because based on what it is that you found out, here we go to the how. Based on what you found out that that particular other company is doing, or a number of companies are doing, it's like, wow, seems like they all have increased in this area, or did this or did that, or went to using this particular tool set. Or globally, they're now focusing on this particular continent or this particular country. So what's going on over there? So you do some more research, you do some more curation, you do some more benchmarking, right? And then now you're able to have, for the following year, put some things in place because of your benchmarking, that next year or the next month, next quarter, however fast you can get to it, you've been able to now make more efficient goals. How amazing is that? Now you have goals, and you can make them SMART goals, so that you can have where they are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Now the R, a lot of people use the R in a lot of different ways. But what I'm saying is, and I'm slowing down right now because I want to make sure that you get this, benchmarking is an amazing tool. And yes, the one we're on right now is that it helps you to do better goal setting. Having goals is key. So what does benchmarking also help you do? It helps you to develop better KPIs. So write that down. Helps to develop better KPIs to go along with your goal. Key performance indicators. It's your metrics. It's how you measure yourself. So if you're making a SMART goal, if it's measurable, how are you measuring it? So here's the how. You're looking at, is it quantitative or is it qualitative? Is it something that you can have like actual numbers for? Or is it something that you have to look at and see, well, it's really where, it's a feeling. It's something more like a net promoter score, like which is NPS, where on some of it's how does the person feel, of which you can put some numbers to that. Like a lot of times things that are qualitative, you can finagle, highly technical word, right? You can finagle in there some way to still put a measurement to it. Like your doctor, when you go to the doctor. So how do you feel? Like how much pain is in your knee? Because I have pain in my knee right now. How much pain is in your knee? And they'll say on a scale of 0 to 10. And sometimes they'll have a smiley face on the thing for the 10. And then you're just totally just in pain, excruciating pain for the 10, or no pain for the 0, which would be the smiley face. Had that backwards, would be the smiley face if it's 0 pain. And then it's just in the middle, the face is just like that. So it is a feeling, but you still can have where you put some numbers to it. So benchmarking helps you to be able to increase your customer satisfaction by already fixing those things and starting at, a few points back. Then it also can help you with basically putting into effect, better performance goals. And then based on those goals, having better KPIs, key performance indicators. So for those of you who have been in your business or anywhere in your life and you've been just killing it, you've been doing really, really great. As mentioned, we do have an award ceremony coming up later this year. I want to play the commercial for that again as we go into portions of our final segment of the importance of benchmarking. Greetings, everyone, and thank you for being here today. And we are talking about the importance of benchmarking. And right now we're down to the one that's talking about goal setting. We talked about customer satisfaction. We talked about KPIs, which is key performance indicators, like how are we going to measure that we're doing better by using this amazing benchmarking. And one of the things that we want to focus in on now is all of this helps to put us into an area, as we talked about earlier, as in a better area of competitive advantage. But it also helps to foundationally support our strategic direction. And so what do I mean by that? So here we go to the how. How this helps us to support our strategic direction is because if we're putting in goals of various types and we're able to measure this, then when it comes time for us to report to our executive board or to the parent company or just to the public, if it's a public company, then we're able to say that we went into this direction. We went into this particular sector of the world. We went into this particular sector of business because of what transpired in the analysis and in our benchmarking. And it gives the reason why we're doing what we're doing. So I want us to really, really think about this as we move forward, because if we don't have any way of doing benchmarking, if we don't have where we are able to master, master this skill, then it puts us into a blind spot in our business, And why do I say that? Well, I say that because we have to know what's out there, or we should know what's out there. We should know what other people are doing. And if no one else is doing it, and we truly have where we're able to bring something forth into the world that has never been done before, that has never been out there before, and market it properly, this could be a real game changer for us and our bottom line. It could be a game changer for solving a problem. It could be a game changer for our impact in the world. As well as, we always want to have, if we can, monetary impact as well, positively be impacted um, favorably financially by our decisions, right? So benchmarking can help us do that. And doing it in a way and having a team, having non-disclosure agreements, having, various kinds of protection, IP protection, and other clauses that we would put in our contracts with the people working on this with us. So depending on what it is that they find, like they have that's in real life, which is a lot of the movies that are out there that talk about people betraying people is based on real life, where somebody gets a portion of something and they understand, wow, this could be a really huge thing. So then they go and they want to take it and run with it themselves and leave the person behind that brought them into the particular project. And even if it's a relative, I had a young man let me know, we were talking about some things that happened to him. And there was a person who just ran off with like $1 million, basically, that they had made in the company. He showed him everything. And 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 that was a sad situation in that particular case. There's other cases where it was siblings, and the person who had thought of what they thought of, the brother and sister that didn't think of it, came in and wanted to take over everything, and they're in litigation. I don't know if they're still in litigation. I haven't talked to them lately, but these things happen all the time, whether it's a business partner in the first case, or if it's a relative like the lady in the second case. We have to be careful in what we share and what we do. Now, we do want to have where we have business continuity plans, disaster recovery plans, succession plans, all of those kinds of things in place. But we also want to have where we're protected as best as possible when we're working on things like that, because we want anything and everything we're working on to be big, right? We want it to be impactful. We want to have where we make a lot of money, where we solve a lot of problems and make this world a better world. And so when we're thinking about our capital raise, related to these particular projects, whether it's inside a corporation or whether you're a solopreneur, whatever your company structure is, we need to think about how we do this benchmarking, which is very, very key and a key part when we're talking about raising capital, so that we'll be able to have those in the various plans that we will be putting forth in the proposals, so that people can understand, do they want to invest in this? Do they want to have where they partner with you on this? Is it a JV? Like what kind of structure are we talking about in these various cases? So benchmarking is a tool that can be used inside of various areas of business. So let's just always keep that in mind. All right. So one of the other areas related to benchmarking is compliance related to the tax code, related to regulations, related to us understanding if we're working locally, nationally, internationally, the various countries. We all have different rules, regulations, guidelines that are very important for us to follow. So as part of your benchmarking, a portion of your curation in that area should be in what are the tax codes, what are the federal regulations, what are the regional regulations, what are the country regulations. And so those are in the forms of various types of standards, and there's various standards agencies that you could look at depending on the sector, understand and just look up, for that particular sector, whatever it is that you're doing, what is the regulatory body, okay, or regulatory bodies. And whatever the product is, the same thing, you just look up what are the regulatory bodies for this type of product or service. So all of these things most likely do have some kind of regulation around it. And if they don't, they have committees that are being put in place and have been put in place to see about how they are going to be able to put some kind of control around that particular sector, product, process. So it could be that you then, based on this benchmarking exercise and what you're looking up from a regulatory perspective, whether there's a regulation there or not, you might stumble across an article or something on a website that says that they are looking for people in industry that want to be a part of a particular task force to develop the guidelines and the regulations. So there you have it. Now you will be on the ground floor of being one of the people that can help shape the regulation if you so choose. How cool is that? So being able to say that you're one of the founders and one of the people that was on the ground floor of making this a reality. Maybe there's already something from a federal perspective, but not from a global perspective. And so you can say that you are on the ground floor of making this a reality in your community. And that would be something that would be really great for your CV and just for your credentials to say that you're on the ground floor related to that. So benchmarking, as you can see, can take on a lot of different shapes, depending on how you do it, depending on the focus of what it is that you're attempting to do. This is something that can be a real game changer for you in your business and for your employees, because another thing that it does, and we'll end with this one and then go into a few other things for the end of this show as kind of like a recap, but it can increase employee satisfaction. And so that's last but not least, certainly, is that benchmarking can also increase employee satisfaction. Because if your employees see that you're out there doing your best to have where you win in the industry, and that they work for a company that is based on what has been found in the benchmarking, doing very well, or has plans to increase certain things so that they can do better to win in the economy, then that does help increase employee satisfaction. Now, part of this, when I talked earlier about making some changes in the organization, when we look at benchmarking, that's why I said, if there was 100 people in manufacturing and now there's only going to be 50 or 60, but there were 10 people in the research and development, but now we're going to have 35. You can't necessarily move the manufacturing people over to the R&D area because it's potentially a different skill set. But based on your expansion, if you're going to open up another location, then maybe those other people, the 40 manufacturing people that will no longer be there because of the advancement of automation, robotics, and AI, maybe they could move over to the other location. But I always want to see, if there's a way for us to have some kind of solution for those that are being displaced. Now, the other thing is that if there is an educational portion for employee satisfaction, where those people in manufacturing could be trained to pick up a different skill set to still be used at the same company, then that is a win-win for them as well, because you're able to have employee retention, you're able to have employee growth, because now they're growing and learning a new skill, and you're also able to have where, they feel still a sense of loyalty to the company, and they've now just increased their value and their worth because they have new skills. So if there's various things like that that we can look at, as opposed to just doing this and just getting rid of people, that is something that I hope that we can think about when it comes to benchmarking. Because benchmarking does a lot of different things, ladies and gentlemen, related to the adjustments that we could make based on what it is that we find, right? So let's always, always, always think about the humanitarian factor. And I want to, as much as possible, continue to say that and bring that up in these different shows, the humanitarian factor, because a lot of things are moving in a lot of different areas of life across the world into being non-civil. It's the civility factor, the humanitarian factor. So let us just think about that as we move forward. All right. So we're going to take a short commercial break here and talk about one of the things that you can do related to benchmarking is the messaging. How well are the other companies bringing forth their messaging? And a lot of that has to do with who they have as their spokesperson, who they have. I know you can write something and then have AI be a voice, but also we still need to keep the humanitarian factor and have where there's people speaking to people at conferences and different things like that. So speaking is very important, and I want to introduce you to our book on speaking. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Crystal Richardson. Hope you enjoyed our show today. As we get ready to wrap up on the importance of benchmarking, let us not forget the humanitarian factor and the civility factor. I am actually the global ambassador of innovation for I Change Nations, which is a civility organization, a global civility organization. And so as we look at the humanitarian factor, always have in your business plan, your strategic plan, your disaster recovery plan, business continuity plan, succession, of which that has to do with people. Let's have where we look at how can we be more hospitable, compassionate, ethical, and even merciful related to the humanitarian factor. So yes, we want to do things more efficiently. I talked about benchmarking and increasing efficiencies, and we have growth and competitive advantage, customer satisfaction, client satisfaction, as well as employee satisfaction, but not necessarily having them be satisfied if they get let go because of some of these initiatives. So let us just always think about having that be an added portion to our business plan. All right. So wanted to thank our TV organization, our channel here that we're on, and just thank them for being a part of all of what we do. And we appreciate all of their support. I was hesitating a little bit because I'm real excited. I was going to say something about what we'll be doing to have the actual launch, but I'll save that so that we can have a big splash for the launch of Life Innovation Global TV. We are making some changes here in the studio. Some of you will be able to come here to be a part of our studio audience for a number of the different shows that we'll be having. Some will be online seminars and summits, and then other things will be where there will be a live studio audience, a private viewing, and a private filming, and then we will release that actual footage to you. So if you're interested in being a part of that, Some of it is with still working on. I have some footage. I think there's about 8 shows with one in the Billionaire Alliance that I have. And I met someone this past week that said that they had some other people they would like for me to potentially interview, and that would be great. But we won't put that cart before that horse. We'll see, how things work out with that. But I'm just so super excited. I love Life Innovation Global TV. I love our motto related to short, powerful content. And so if you want to have your commercial here, if you want to have your show here, if you want to be a guest, if you want to come and just be a part of our studio audience, if you want to be on one of our panels that we have here, there's a lot that's going to be going on here in our studios in Arizona. So you can contact us at legacy@lifeinnovationglobal.com, legacy@lifeinnovationglobal.com. And let's see if we can get that to show on the bottom. There we go. Join us. You can join us, okay? And we would love to have you come to our studio audience. And if you're looking for a place, the Life Innovation Global TV is housed at the Uplift Center, and that is the upliftcenter.com. You have to put the in it, otherwise Uplift Center I think is like some kind of facelift thing. I'm not sure, but it's the upliftcenter.com, and you can get some more information on that, and even have where you utilize the studio for your own events, your own business. And we are now going to be putting some of the upgrades in as I discussed. And so based on that, we'll have like a grand opening here at the Uplift Center to have people come in and see some of the changes that we're doing here and the equipment that we have, so that they will be able to utilize that. Even the gig bar flashing, we have had some really amazing birthday parties and holiday parties here that people have booked. And so we would love to have you be a part of that as well, where you can have any kind of event here. The studio does hold with the folding chairs, like 80 to 100 folding chairs in here, but comfortably, it would be about 70 or so. And then if there's tables, because it's banquet style, there's various ways that we can set that up, and that would be a lesser number. But it's a really nice space, and I'm really excited about what God is allowing us to do, and the people that He has sent to see if they already want to use it, and just starting to get a little bit of a flow of traffic of people that are interested in doing some things here at the Uplift Center. So if that sounds like you, that would be great, and we would love to have you join us. All right, so I'm just going to hide that for a moment. Also, I mentioned if you wanted some help on your business plan, if you wanted some help on getting your business started, and depending on the sector that you're in, or depending on who you want to partner with, or if there is something that you're doing that you need a person to be on your due diligence team, that is a part of what I do as well. And so I would be able to help you to see if you're making the right decision. And it's not guaranteed, right? It's never guaranteed, but having a person to look over your contract, to look over what the particular parameters are that they have in whatever kind of pro forma that they're having you look at, looking back at historical information, or having where I help you formulate questions that you would like to ask them, or if you would like for me to actually be in that meeting with you to represent you as again, there's no good guarantees ever, but I would be able to represent you as a person on your due diligence team, just so that you can have more information. Information is power. So I do that in relation to what I do under reduceinvestmentrisk.com. So that's if you want to have people invest in you, as well as if you want to make an investment, then I help people with those types of meetings. All right. Well, this has been great today. Hope you've gotten something out of benchmarking. I surely have, in just basically going over what it is that we already know and offer. It's always great to have a review. And so I hope you have a blessed day. And remember, always do your best and always think about other people related to that humanitarian factor that's going to continue to come up. You have a really great day.